What happens when one of America's most private first ladies suddenly steps straight into Hollywood? And does it with a splash big enough to make the entire industry shift in its seat? Because that's exactly what Melania Trump just did. One cryptic logo, one surprise announcement, and one documentary that already has studios whispering, critics panicking, and fans wondering what she's planning next. And trust me, this story is way bigger than just a movie. Melania didn't ease into Hollywood. She dropped in like a meteor. On November 28, she posted a black and silver emblem that simply read, Muse Films. No speech, no explanation. Just that elegant M floating in darkness while dramatic music pulsed underneath it. And instantly, people began connecting the dots. Muse wasn't a random choice. It was her old Secret Service codename, something almost nobody expected her to reference publicly. The symbolism was crystal clear. This was personal. This was intentional. And this was about controlling a story that the world has been guessing about for years. But the real shock came just seconds later, when she revealed what Muse Films would be releasing first. A full-length documentary titled Melania. No subtitles. No political slogan. Just her name, stamped in bold white letters across the screen like a statement. And according to the official description, this film promises something no cameras have ever shown. The 20 days leading up to the 2025 inauguration, all captured from her point of view. Moments the press never saw. Conversations the public wasn't meant to hear. Footage from her private walkthroughs of the East Wing. Quiet strategy sessions. She even allowed glimpses of her family preparing to re-enter the White House, though not enough to turn the film into a family biography. But here's where the story takes a sharp turn. Because this isn't some tiny indie project being released on a random streaming service. Reports claim Amazon and MGM Studios paid around $40 million for the global distribution rights. $40 million. For a political documentary produced by the subject herself. That price tag sent shockwaves through both Hollywood and Washington. People started asking, why would Amazon spend blockbuster money on something this controlled? Why right before the inauguration? Was this a genuine creative investment? Or was the studio securing influence access something more strategic? And just when the debate reached boiling point, another detail leaked. One that instantly ignited backlash, the director. Melania had chosen none other than Brett Ratner, a once dominant Hollywood name, whose career had collapsed under a wave of misconduct allegations during the #MeToo era. He'd disappeared from the mainstream for years. Every attempt at a comeback had failed. His name alone triggered controversy. And now, suddenly, he was back attached to a documentary about the First Lady of the United States. People weren't just surprised. They were furious. Film critics slammed the choice. Commentators called it tone-deaf. Industry insiders whispered that Ratner had personally pitched the idea through mutual friends, hoping Melania would give him the redemption arc the industry refused him. Whether that's true or not, his involvement instantly turned the film into one of the most divisive projects of the year. All of this led to the next big question. What exactly is Muse Films? Because when people looked into it, they discovered almost nothing. The website, bare bones, a logo, a tagline, and the documentary title. No staff list, no executives, no upcoming slate, no mission statement, nothing that resembled a real production company, which immediately sparked speculation. Is Muse Films a full studio? Or just a self-branded shell created for this one project? Some think Melania plans to expand into lifestyle, fashion, and media content under the same banner. Others believe the company is a one-time vehicle to control this documentary. And only this documentary. But the secrecy is intentional. And the mystery is part of the marketing. Meanwhile, the internet exploded. Supporters praised her for finally stepping out of the political shadows to tell her own story. Fans said they were excited to see a non-traditional First Lady present her side of history. But critics, they went off. They accused her of launching a polished PR campaign disguised as a documentary. They called the timing suspicious. They questioned the $40 million deal, the director, the secrecy. They said this wasn't transparency, it was narrative engineering. Even some Hollywood voices chimed in, saying the project felt like a calculated mix of personal branding and political influence. But behind all that noise sits a bigger question. Why now? Why would Melania, who's known for her distance from the spotlight, choose this exact moment to create a Hollywood company and release a film about her private world? Analysts have theories. Some say she wants to reclaim her narrative before others rewrite it for her. Others whisper that advisors encouraged her to rebuild her public image in a more artistic, stylish, controlled way. Some even believe this documentary is a test run for a future media empire, something she can own, direct, and profit from independently of politics. And then there are the more dramatic theories online, suggesting she personally supervised every frame of the documentary and approved every shot. That made it into the final cut. Whatever the reason, one thing is certain: Melania Trump stepping into Hollywood is not a small move. It's a seismic shift, because it represents a growing trend: political figures turning into storytellers, narrative architects, and entertainment power players. And every time that happens, it raises questions about who controls the stories that shape the world, who funds them, and who benefits when those stories go global. So now the world waits. The documentary is coming. The hype is building, and the debate is only getting louder. But the final question is the one nobody can ignore. Is Melania Trump entering Hollywood to finally tell her side of the story, or to rewrite the parts she wants the world to forget? Because when politics, image, and entertainment collide this dramatically, authenticity becomes the hardest thing to trust.